Hi guys, welcome to our weekly pick a card reading, Inkblot Oracle style. We're going to dive into these shadow scrolls and see what the subconscious spirit of shadow work has to say with the crows. If you're choosing one, here is your Inkblot, your portal to perceive and receive in, and your crow is luck, number 28. Timestamps are below. Number 2, if anything is standing out, shapes or symbols that are speaking. And your crow that comes forward is 10 with community. And number 3, and your crow is 14 distance. Whether you're aligned to 1, 2, or 3, a 3, 1, a 2, 1, 3, or you come back different days, or whenever you may receive this message, receive or release freely. I'll see you at your choice chosen. All right, number 1. Let's dive in. I'm going to utilize the shaman's palm layout as per usual. And let's see what's stepping forward. Okay. So this is the way I'm going to say this. There's something about devotion and dedication. You can expect luck to come in, but it's almost like not only speaking words, but how your body is moving in dedication to, in honor of. So if you could imagine what a warrior or whatever content, personal, professional, corporate, creative, romantic, platonic, how do you dedicate and devote yourself to such thing? And I say this in the spirit of I'm seeing these parrots. So parrots might mean something to you, along with you might have parents in the afterlife. But I want to stay right here because there's an embodiment right here that feels shrouded at this time. And I want to say, get to work. It's tough love feel. Don't be mad. Like, don't be mad at the messenger. But if you have 10 minutes to devote and dedicate to your art, to your craft, to meditation, to cleansing the mind, the energy body, you have 10 minutes or 2 hours, then do that. Basically, stop fucking around and do it. It's there's something about this time. It's like, when you're talking to somebody and 1 minute or 10-minute conversation can feel like it's taken the whole day, or the energy effects of that. And then there's also times when you might be talking to somebody or having an experience where, 5 minutes has the energy, and it felt like something that took 10 hours felt like 5 minutes in a state of. So there's something about that. And there's something about receiving the luck of what might appear to be in, like, oh, this has taken, I've dedicated my life for 10 years, 20 years, this, that, or the other. I want you to look at what the devotion, like the lips moving and speaking as an act of devotion and action to your body movements, to your energy, to what your mindscape may be. And toughen, it's almost like tighten that up. Maybe toften's not the right word, but it's almost like, shit or get off the pot type thing. And on the other hand, it's like once that happens, and whether you stop judging maybe the minutes, well, I only have like 2 minutes at the end of the day, then make those 2 minutes a devoted 2 minutes. Stop judging the time frame in possibility of meaning. Well, this took me 10 years, so it has more meaning. This took me 2 minutes, so it has less meaning. This felt easy. This was also enjoyable in a 10-year experience, and I would like to continue having that experience. Do you see what I mean? There's all of this stuff, and I'm not trying to be away, but it's here. And there might be something about luck that you might feel is leaving you or leaves, but here I'm seeing it very clearly as a receiving. And it's through this, leaving, let me say this well, excuses behind, and utilizing the meat suit, the mindset, your multidimensional nature to devote and dedicate yourself without judging the time frame, without judging things by a measurement of value, but also acknowledging there might be something that you're going to stop doing. Maybe stop making excuses. I'm so busy, da 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 da. Then maybe there's too much on our plate. Maybe we're extended too far. And so we want to pull in those reins to say, okay, some things are going to go on the shelf for another time. Some things are going to be released completely. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it feels like a tough love message, but at the same time, I feel like sometimes we just need to hear it that way. And this crow's like, you want luck? Then leave some of these things behind. If you're saying, I want, I desire, whatever the case is, or I am this, or whatever the case is, how are you devoting yourself? And not necessarily all encompassing your day, week, month, year. And this is, and you have maybe in some cases removed other things that could be beneficial by saying, well, I'm so career focused, I don't have time for love, I don't have time for friends. Okay, but does it have to have this to it? What's that about, right? What are we possibly protecting by saying I'm this? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's a bad thing to be career focused or love interest focused, but it's in the dedication of how we devote our body to express those very things. I'm probably not saying this even in a near enough clear way, but I feel like if you get the gist and just sometimes you're like, yeah, I needed to hear it that way. And with these parrots here, it's like, I needed to hear it that way. Not parent, like communications from a parent per se, in the broader scope of what parenting may mean. You know, and sometimes like when it feels like you get parented by people, places, or things, or industries, they know you don't do as I say, not as I do. Okay, call it for what it is. It's not aligning, right? And do they, whoever they is, or these aspects that you're looking at, have in any way, shape, or form the results that indicate that their wisdoms are embodied as well? Or are they just words that are empty? Now, while this is like a tough love message here, it's because you're lucky. It's because you hold the ability to and are already magnetic. And it's like, magnetize yourself to the things you would like to devote yourself to. When you're doing the dishes, you can just be doing the dishes. Or you can say, you know what, I'm also going to utilize this to sing and clear my throat or hum. I'm also going to, I don't know, put ankle weights on. And I'm not saying you need to multitask. That's not the point. But there's opportunities right in the mundane to devote and dedicate yourself to some other aspect that can add to that. It's like being career driven and also prioritizing and dedicating yourself to some hobby or having a friend circle that's not only healthy, but also because they add like nutrients. Like, you're so darn lucky to have that, because then maybe it makes your job and your career feel more balanced. Anyway, hopefully this is all making sense, because as I'm sitting here in the center space with you, there's diamonds all around you. Or have already done in other ways in your life, turn the coal into a diamond, and you can do it again and do it again and do it again. Can we not judge the time? If a diamond takes a bajillion years, but another diamond takes 4 seconds. And I know in the scope of like, creating diamonds or artificially, whatever, I'm not talking about that. This is about you. This is just a symbol coming through and saying it's yours. The value of the amethyst, the value of the diamond, the value of the quartz, tourmaline. You decide that. Tough love, get to work. You want to be a warrior? How does a warrior dedicate themselves? They train. What are you doing to train? Doesn't mean it needs to be all day, all week, all, oh my God. But there might be a time when you're like sprinting and you're saying, okay, for this weekend, like let's say if you're a writer, and then at some point in time, you're like, okay, for the next 4 days, I'm going to go and isolate myself and no excuses, right? Get her done. Try to remove as many things as possible for a positive reason. And in that time frame, we can see when we'll create the distractions, we'll create the excuses. Anywho, it's all a very positive message. And I hope that in this like tough love kind of message, it is letting you know that it's there, that you know how lucky you are, and how much luckier can you be if you like wrapped in the shroud of that luck and magnetized to it, because it already is. As I flip the scroll, there's a man's face right here. So this is like that tribal mask, kind of in this warrior feel. We'll also start getting out some scrolls. There's a warrior vibe here. And putting on that mask, and not necessarily in the way that everyone's masking this out or the other, but utilizing it as an expression. You know, when tribes or warriors will put on a mask, they're putting themselves into a certain energy. That's an action to dedicate this. And maybe you have a face, you know, put on your face, you put on your makeup, or you tighten your tie, or whatever the case, you put certain shoes on for certain tasks, and it helps you get into that role. Okay, it feels wonderful. Anticipation. I'm just going to lay out the cards and then we'll come into them. You can anticipate lots of luck for sure. There's also a gentleman here. If he is in the afterlife or hereafter, he has handlebar mustaches. He might have been a father figure, as where parents are coming through. And there's something about the like an ancestral altar or what's held in your memory of such. I feel very cherished, and I feel like if this message is just for one, he wants you to know he knows that you cherish. Yeah. He has been released into the afterlife or has crossed. He's very, very aware, but still very with you as you're growing. And if this isn't a parent that has passed or a grandparent, this could be a guide coming through that is working specifically with you because of where you're going. And do you know what I want to say? Whatever you're releasing, and some masks are being taken off of our own self as well. Again, kind of tough love. Take off the mask of, I don't know, I'm nervous, I'm not enough because I can only dedicate 20 minutes a day versus, you know, some people do this for 4 hours a day. All of those things are nonsense. 2 minutes potently can outweigh 2 hours done half-fastly or on autopilot. They all have their place. So utilize your 2 minutes potently. Get to work. No excuses. Nothing but performance. Still, do not take that advice. But you know what I'm saying? It's like taking your own mask off and going, okay, yeah, I'm nervous, I'm scared. Well, you can be confidently nervous. You can be absolutely sure that you're scared, but you're still going to do it. Because you've got the support team here. And there's nothing but luck raining down. Like once you just release the aura, clouds, atmosphere, trying to hold all these different pressure systems. And you're like, the weather is today, it rains. The weather is today, it rains. And how beneficial is that? Maybe we've been holding back crying. Maybe that we've been holding back giving a crap. Maybe. Whatever this is, and we've been holding all these pressure systems, and we just let it rain, and we nourish the dry soil in which we walk upon. And now the substance of your earth, cave of earth with the growth, has something to go on, has been given a nutrient, a substance. Say, oh my goodness, how lucky are we today that it rained? We can start growing the seeds for the grass in the gardens. How lovely. How lucky. I think that there's also in some space here. Yeah, okay, I can see you working. I think they're lemurs. You know when like two things are unlikely to be friends, if you've ever seen like those little memes or even anything pre-meme, or maybe somebody's a pre-meme, but pre-meme. And it's like, oh, this raccoon is friends with a family dog. So something that seems unlikely in their connection, I'm just going to say that it seems unlikely. It's like somehow like doing dishes and meditating as a version, having a shower and also releasing and utilizing that as a spiritual cleansing as well. Not just because there's water falling from the sky and on the skin, it's the physical action of dedicating, but then adding this layer potently to it. And I think our last pick a card reading was about potent, and so maybe it's just carrying through. I just want to acknowledge from maybe someone's history of your mindscape, the database in which maybe you refer things to. I, you, me, of course. I'm never in accusing or telling. It's just an experience of I to the you to the we to the me, that maybe you're anticipating if there's something you're creating or doing that nobody will show up or nobody will be there. And this might come from memory. This might come from a scaredness. This might come from, oh, I'm nervous that no one's going to show up to your book signing, nervous that no one's going to show up to my meeting, to my party, whatever the case is. How I'm seeing it though, and I'm compassionate to that, but we're still going to have the experience of that, because whether people do or don't show the action that you've devoted yourself to this, I kind of want to say, look at the bigger picture of spirit. Can you remember that in those moments? Because you're going to move through what one push up at some point in time feels like hell in a handbag and takes this immense amount of effort. But at some point in time, it's so lucky that you did that for yourself, because at some point in time, that one push up's going to feel like no big deal. So it's almost like kind of like pressing through. And in your heart of hearts, there's kind of like this in the cave of hearth fire. See, like with the dog and the crow there. It's like an unlikely pairing of the heart. If this isn't something about relationships, the two coming together, it's like, but there's this in the mimicry of, not in a nasty way, like, you know, when people just start to mimic each other and take on each other's traits, and then you're like, where am I in all this? Or when somebody, a friend just starts kind of copying you, and you're like, but that's not them, that's you. So first and foremost, I'm just going to say there is the authenticity. And while it's a popular term nowadays to be like, oh, I'm being authentic, there's a lot of non-authenticity, but in trying to learn authenticity. So it's kind of like having a big sister, a little sister, or brother, whatever the case is, even from that parent aspect, if there's things that you're working with from your parents, or even in that concepts of parenthood, and it's going, okay, so you copy what your big sister does, or you're the little sister to the big sister, and you're like, that's how they learn. It's going to be short-lived, right? It's going to be short-lived because it's adding something to their world that will inevitably express itself in their way. It's like a trainer, you step into a gym or some sort of training ability, and they are going to teach the same things, the same techniques to a lot of people. So not everything is personal or needs to be taken personally. When it's personal, and when you know it's personal, then you handle it. You spend time and energy handling it. Because in no way, shape, or form does being divine or a devotee or dedication mean that you're a doormat. Quite the opposite in many cases. Because you're also a warrior in training, and to balance that out and ensure, as you are embracing and cultivating whatever actions and non-actions, passive, active, in your love, your ability for capacity and connection, you also have a big old muscle, and you're like, no, get your sword out. You lay down the law when needs to be done. Tough love style sometimes is the way. Anyway, where the heck am I in all of this? All right. Okay. So when you're very lucky as well, you're going to naturally attract people, places, or things. So discernment also is dedicating time to discerning what is anyway, so there's an unlikely pairing here in the heart space. German Shepherd, if you have a animal and spirit there stepping forward. I also feel like you're rising well above what was. And this isn't to insult like the generational thing. Oh, the boomers or Gen X or Gen Z or I don't know, Gen squared. I have no idea. This is you rising above, listening to the crows and the ravens and saying, yes, I can see that, see the people walking and talking and being of our mindscape, of our parents, and dare I say our experiences, but when do we take our experiences and move them into excuses? So that might be an alchemical thing that you've well worked through, because I see you moving on. I see you moving on in that aspect from knowing what's an experience and provided education, knowledge, etc. And when you're like, no, I'm using this as an excuse. I know I am. Okay. So let's not copycat. Let's not perpetuate a cycle under the guise of trying not to. In regards to the heart space, there is something here about like smoothing out the surface. I'm seeing whales come together, and however whales may mate or in the water, but it feels smooth, like smooth sailing. And I want to say taking the risk on love. And it kind of comes back to that portion earlier on where it's like I'm career focused, I'm love focused, I'm creative focused, and they all have their spaces of dedication and to isolate, protect, and preserve that. But are we also utilizing certain strengths and not opening ourselves up due to risk? Cave of Rivers. And it may be just something to look at, but I do see it smoothing out. There's also something about fossils. Yeah. And is it a pinky ring? It's a pinky ring. Maybe it's like a promise ring? A promise ring. Yes. And somebody knows how to speak. Like it's like putting gems on the teeth. Is that still a thing or whatnot? Having shiny teeth. And sometimes being mindful of people, places, or things. I'm not being judgmental, but we're discerning. You got to look at it. Are they just, are they saying nothing, but with a sparkle? You know? Anyway. And the Cave of Earth with your growth, 23, which is like my Michael Jordan number. It's the way it's come through for some time now. So I'm just like leaning into it and accepting it. So you're going into the Michael Jordan of whomever and whatever you'd like to be. This is being prepared for you. Your numbers being prepared for you. Whatever that number is, that symbol for like Michael Jordan. Take the risk, practice things, practice. I think a lot of the times we focus on the end performance, like practicing for the games. And yes, the games or whatever this thing that you might be heading into to exude and share. Listen to this like connection. It seems unlikely, like, oh, why would my higher self care of talking to my protective nature or an animal, a spirit animal that's or it's embodied as your pet in the spirit is communicating to your pet, giving information because we're just like la la la. Sometimes we can get great advice from the most unlikely of places. 24 with the heart. Flowers. Yeah, flowers on the wall. Tree. Okay. Oh, there's a ring. And last but not least, we have clover. Do you know what's so fun about this? What's on the bottom? 28. Again, did we have 20? Yes, 28 and them. I'm going to note that there might be releasing them. Whoever they are in our heads. If there are reasons that we press through and persevere, as long as we're not perpetuating the cycle unknowingly, you know what I mean? Because I obviously I don't think that's your intention, but there just seems to be like no fuss, no muss kind of chat here. I'm gonna say anticipate heartfeltness, not heartbreak. I'm seeing where these empty tables are. These are all the people coming in the mindscape. In your mind, see the people coming. It's kind of like what they do when they say in the visualization of things. Spend 20 potent seconds to visualize. Getting flowers after your accolades, the promotion, the car, the new to you car, a new shirt that you've been saving for, whatever the case is. Congratulations. Congratulations. What I love here too about in this Cave of Hearth Fires with the tree is like it's an extension of this branch. 7 might mean something to you. It's also my bridge card or bridge number. 7 is my bridge between the lower realms or the 6 chakras with the crown and to the higher, above and beyond the physical body being. And this is that maybe unlikely connection you have, but it bridges those things. The heart and the mind, the body and the energy, the weather of the emotions and the nutrients waiting to receive from the earth. What does your landscape look like? Is it dry? Does it need rain? Does it need eggshells or potassium? I'm utilizing plant things that are coming through, but you know the drill. I also want to say, take a risk on love. I'm hearing it's like I'm unlucky in love. The emotional water. I want to say, look at the emotional landscape of ourselves. Be honest. Be honest about it. Look within the self, and that we talked about that diamond, and then the diamond shows up. And then we have clover with growth. There is luck. You might even have 2 opportunities to choose from. There might be 2 of them. Who knows? It all feels like these parrots. Yeah. They've been very chatty. I hope I've done it some justice. And I can see almost like lip, if you were to like fog up a window and then put your lips on it, and then it would leave like the lip marks. Something about speaking, how one speaks something into being. That is but one action. How does imagine your whole body is it? It's like, okay, I'm going to extend my body for 1 minute, 20 breaths to breathe while I'm on the toilet on the loo of letting go. And it's like, okay, then I'm going to utilize this, 1 minute, and I'm going to breathe deeply. I'm going to sit aligned, whatever the case is. I hope this did serve, inspire, educate, or entertain. This has been a lot of fun. Tough love. You got this. Heart open, hard heads. I'll see you soon. I'll see you next week. Oh, and before I let you go, I will put it in the description box below and or the comment section. If you're familiar with my House of Scrying channel, Witch and Scythe and myself are going to be doing a full moon messages on April 1st on Zoom at 6 p.m. If you would like to join us, the link is in the description box below. All right. Otherwise, I will see you next Saturday. So much love. Bye. Number 2, the shadow scroll is for you. Take it in. What do you see, sense, and feel? Before there's any cards added, what are your intuitions? Jot them down in the comment section where we nurture our interconnected nature and we all become the readers, seers, oracles. And your card is 10 of community there. Okay, so I'm going to say this. I feel like I am in this trunk of this tree. Like this is microscopic. Zoom, 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 zoom into this trunk of this tree. And there's an expansion. It's like breaking open the shell. And maybe you're stepping into your community locally for the first time in a long time, getting to know the library or the grocery store or going to a coffee shop, whatever the case is. And you're stepping out into that community. I also want to note that there's a remembering of the mush. So, in the spirit of the caterpillar to the butterfly, you remember the mush state. And there's something very special about that. Remembering the mush state. Sorry, I had a few seeds before in between. Because the roots of where you come from aren't where you stay. So this kind of like this message, this feels like from the crows and the shadow spirits, and I just adoringly love it. And how I almost feel like the way I want to express this, there's urgency, but it's not an emergency. Does that make sense? There is this remembering, yes, of where you came from, where you started, what your intention is, where your idealism or your ideals are, your moral compass. Yes, but, and not but, yes, but remembering the mush, remembering all of the ancestors, the versions of you, the archetypes. It's like you're putting them to use. And I wonder if I may, if this message is just for when you've had moments where you have felt used to abused by people, like they can maybe come in and out of your life and just like it has, when people say, oh, I'm trying to think of like high school or something like that. It's like, oh, they're just using them or just using this. There's something about maybe that feeling, but you remember, and you don't remember where it holds you back, but you're like, it's almost like sometimes learning what you don't want to be like, or okay, some things teach you by showing you the not what you want but what you don't want, and that is just as powerful and potent. I'm telling you, this word potent seems to be just coming through all over the place today. I'm going to lean into it while it's in our verbiage. Like looking at the poppy field and the white roots of purity. So I'm also going to say this as well, quite confidently. Any sort of concepts of karma, you have cleansed for your behalf. You're not responsible for your parents or your siblings or this, that, or the other, da, 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 da. Your participation in the lineage and lines, you have accomplished this. You've been the caterpillar, you moved through the mush, you remember the mush, and are now the butterfly. And if I may say so, maybe you're a crow butterfly. I want to put crow and butterfly together, smush those together. And I kind of want to say you can move freely now. In regards to your community, it's like getting involved, whether that community is online or in person. I do want to say there's a balance of it, while online is very big nowadays, but also going out into the world, in the physical world, getting your grosh, going for a drive, going to a local restaurant and supporting what is directly around you. Because there's something about your location, something about the location. In the Inkblot, I feel very ethereal because I'm still in that mush space, and I'm relating it into like information being exchanged while in formlessness, turning into form from ground caterpillar. What a great experience. Yes, what a great experience. Mush, ethereal, kind of like this formlessness turned butterfly with crow, and now there's lots of air. But that grounding, the memories of being grounded, the caterpillar, the roots of who you are, who inspires you. Thank you. That's incredible. Who are your muses? And if you're with me from the House of Scrying, we work in a lot of muses as our mirrors. And that's kind of the question. Who do you look up to? And maybe it's in your family, your aunties, your uncles. Maybe you have a favorite, whoever the case is, favorite writer, artist, person at work. They hold themselves well in whatever position they're in. The people around you, who do you not only look up to in regards to an achievement, as an inspiration to achieve in your own way, but out of respect, out of admiration, that they handle themselves in good, because they're not absolved, whoever they are outside of you, from good, bad, or ugly situations to great, awesome, etc. But it's how they handle themselves. It's how they express to you, and what they, maybe you notice that they don't hand off, what they reserve themselves for, and also room for what we don't know, right? There's plenty of people in the world that we can say hold themselves with composure and can say the things that need to be said in the way they need to be said, but they're falling apart behind the curtain. They are not happy, or they are unwell in some way, shape, or form. So I want to say this in the moment anyway, is to who do you got owl energy kicking around you? Who do you look up to? Who inspires you to be a better version? And I don't want to say better because it's like, oh, the last version of you is no, because that aspect, that archetypal energy is looking at you too and say, oh my goodness, what a beautiful muse this person is, this vehicle, this vessel that would like to utilize and co-create. How beautiful you are. Do you need to be reminded of that? And not in some like cheesy way when someone's like, oh no, you're beautiful. No, no, no. And it's like super shallow. Like seriously. Do you need to be reminded of that? Do you need to be reminded of how beautiful it is to be in a body, animated around, moving around, caterpillar, the mush inside of our hearts? It's okay to be mushy. And maybe that's reserved for your private life. Maybe being fun, or what, we might see as outgoing, is reserved for your personal life, your friend circles, but the public life or etc. has a different version. It's not because they're not real. It's because that is true. It's like a gated community, and that preserves a certain quality. I'm talking about you, a person, me, I, you, and me, and not about collectively how it, because everything in its totality can be taken for a negative reasoning. It's taking something beautiful and using it for a nasty reason. But this is your aura. This is your world. This is your community, your consciousness, connection to, of your consciousness is a whole community around you, communicating. And if it's just for this moment, we're big and strong. Yes, we're tough. We can persevere, all the things. Rawr. But it's just as strong to say, I'm mushy. I love, you go to work and you do the things and you utilize those aspects, and you come home to your pet and you go, or to your baby, and they melt you. No idea where I am. I got lost in all the love. It's beautiful. And it's like, here we are coming through like this. There's these two eyes off to the side. If you can see them in there, the lighting will allow it to happen. There's also, I think they're Roman chariots. Look at this also up here. It's one of these things. Well, obviously I can't do it to myself. When when like two people like grab hands, they're like, yeah, your community locking that in. Even a community of introverts. Now it might be very silent, but everyone could be quite pleased. Quite pleased. Be like, oh, it's lovely. Yeah. A library that's also a rave at night. It's possible. It's possible. Oh, the ink, you speak so well. There's also ducks in here. I'm going to start adding on through the shaman's palm here. We'll go through the caves as I step forward. A rubber ducky, you're the one. Oh, and there's a swan right behind it. Okay, so I've got an alligator. a swan, and a duck. There's also a dragonfly in here. There's a travel. Where are we traveling to? Okay, so somebody might be moving. You might be looking to a new place to move locally. Find a new place, and maybe it's in the spirit of new me, who dis. You know what I mean? I need to kind of like you just kind of want to refresh your surroundings in your environment. But there's also a curiosity, like what's going on in other places. You know, and sometimes we can realize how sheltered we are. Just saying from my self experience, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm so sheltered. Okay. And so maybe you wander out to, I don't know, take a day, you know, or whatever the case is. This also might be online stuff as well, you know, just saying, because they're all extensions. It's like community, your local community, then your town that's in the county, that's in your province or state, etc. And it's going to keep branching out. The concept of comfort zones branching out, getting bigger, smaller when we shelter them as well. It's a certain kind of fish I'm seeing. I think it's an eel. Is it an eel? I don't know enough about species in general. Hmm. Waterproof is on the bottom. Mushy. You're not made of sugar. It's okay to get wet. You're not going to melt like the Wicked Witch of the West. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm going to land in. Okay, thank you. It's an eel, kind of like in the spirit of caterpillar, but I want to put an eel, the symbolic meaning of whatever arises when, you know, electrifying snake, kind of serpenty. I'm seeing it more like actually a ribbon moving through the water, but it has this power when you decide to connect into something. It's in the grid. Maybe you're going off grid. Maybe you're going deeper into the grid. And I see that, but then also put on a millipede, centipede to millipede legs, and all of these tickles. I don't. You tickle the very earth in where you choose to connect into. Twitch or YouTube, whatever platforms, and you tickle them to your towns. Okay. Cave of Ice brings in freedom. I want to note the way this card's coming in. It's right there. It's at the top there. Can you put it together for me? Yep. Okay, so it's a rose bush. Uh, okay, thank you. It's as simple as I feel free. I feel free from the confines of the caterpillar. And dare I even say the butterfly crow mix, because I always have the memory of the mush. And there's something very specific and significant about the mush state and having a memory of that formlessness into form. What was, what is, what could be. In following your cave of winds of the mind or of the swords is 45 self-interest. Take a look at the art. You know, I read art first. There's also something about grazing. I'm also going to acknowledge, and if this message is for one, thank you for holding space. If there's kind of like a rat or a mouse in your mind, you know, or something that kind of haunts us. And you know, I love me some haunting. You know, I love me some spooky and some haunted. Whether we like it or not, coming from number one is admitting that we're utilizing that to a self-interest. It may be saboteur like, it may be stuckness like, but it's protecting and preserving something. So stop it. That's how I heard that. So stop it. I also want to acknowledge that in the spirit of environment, sometimes when you feel like a job or an opportunity will pick you up and move you to a different location. It's like, oh, it's like when I did my Telegram offering, and I'll put the link to the space below if you're interested. I had been on Telegram for another offering from somebody I was working with, and I really liked it. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And so I stepped out into Telegram. And it's kind of like that. Like it's you might in the spirit of online. It's like, okay, we're here we are on YouTube, or maybe yours is Instagram or Twitch or whatever. And then there might be this offering or an opportunity to do something on Zoom, or this opportunity to go locally. And you take it. It's not taking away from your main thing. It's okay to step aside and try to have the experience and see if it is even interesting for you, if it's something you can work with. Will it expand your consciousness community? Is an extension like an appendage? Is it a one-time thing? Then let it be a one-time thing, but the experience, the excitement, the enjoyment that it may be revealed for you or offered for other people if you're being of service. And they're like, oh, thank goodness they tried this, and the nervousness, the curiosity of finding new territories for you to connect into. Now, that's not necessarily always saying in making connections if it's like, well, that'll be exhausting, or because I want to note for someone here or a few that maybe there has been bonds and community auras that have actually just maybe made you feel displaced because you've had to leave them because they're of their interest, not yours. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with self-interest, absolutely, but is it like co-inspiring? Is it in the spirit of giving and receiving? Is it in, I know this is what's coming, I'm here for this dot 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 dot, and I receive this, and there's not this undercurrent of like, I want more, greed, you know what I mean? When there can be like hungry energies that are entitled and they want more, they just kind of like, do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, and so maybe you've dealt with some rats, maybe you just dealt with some ratty self-interest energies, and you can feel displaced when you're holding, not returning to that, but building trust to try with new people or moving to a new town. And how are they going to receive me? How, whatever the case is. Okay, well, that's earnest. Again, the more you get to know me, I'm like, yeah, I feel that. But okay, feel it. Absolutely feel it. But then when you're stepping into the new town grocery store, you're stepping into Twitch or Instagram, whatever the case may be. Instead of worrying about how they're going to receive you, take charge and stand in your skin of self and what you're adding to that environment. Whether or not how they perceive you is indifferent. That's none of our business, actually. But what is our business is how we step forward. So if you're going to step forward as a CUNT or a douche D-bag because you're already on the defense, well, we're probably going to step into offense. But if you just step in, you're just like, hey, okay, I feel like this message is like super. Oh my goodness. It is what it is, though. We got to hear it sometimes. Yes. Sometimes even the divine gets all down and dirty with it. And it's like, so just, I know sometimes it can be easier said than done. But I also want to say there's something here. I'll bring you with me because I feel like I'm just yammering on. I don't like being a teller. I don't like the dot, but this is the feel of it. And that is my role and responsibility, is to communicate what I'm seeing, sensing, and feel. And I'm just saying this as an example. I'm expressing it as an example should you be in a place of wonderment, ponderment. Because in the Cave of Hearth Fires, there is a curiosity of new territory for you to step into and to make bonds with an area of consciousness, your connection to the collective, your individual connection to a loved one, romance, whatever channel it may be, to creative endeavors. And yes, there are going to be, because free will exists, when you claim your territory and say, I am here on YouTube for a certain, for as an experience. Now, how long it's going to be, whatever, maybe cringe, and people that know you would eye roll. Well, let them eye roll all the way till they look in the back of their own head and can see within themselves. Don't not because of the possibility that somebody may roll their eyes. Let them massage those eyes. Go all the way. Go all the way around the world. But they're also curious because you're well beyond their comfort zone of community. You've moved from the roots that you have cleansed, karmically clear, and you're branching out. You are blooming like a rose bush, rose tree even. And so, yeah, you're going to attract just by being there because you're there and you are naturally an attractive aura. And so keep in mind, for the rats and those curious, if it's spiritually inclined as well, maybe just sweeping your doorstep, maybe little actions, intentions you can do. It doesn't need to be a big deal unless you want it to be a big deal. What it's charged with is more important, how it's nurtured. Sweeping your front step or your door, throwing salt down, just as an added air of protection from other energies that are all living in their own expressions of existence. Energetic, some dead. What we say is dead, still very much so alive, but dead to energies, people, places, or things, their thoughts, their projections, and to your own as well, coming back transforms because they've gone out and learned things and come back to show you something. And if I never got to it at some point in time, there is this, I can see they're armored. Yeah, they're armored, they're just like knights. You can see them armored. There are some instances where if you do not take care of it, spirit will. That's not saying leave it up to spirit or what you may interact with as that. Yeah. I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. Cave of Rivers. 13 displacement. 13 is my integration number, but it's not stepping forward here. What this feels like to me is like this emotional ghetto of sorts, or garbage. But here's what I'm going to say. In the most beautiful, positive way, the way it's coming through. Because in the cave of winds of the mind and the rivers of the cups, with the mouse or the rat there, something, you're blatantly moving on. Okay. And if it's taken me a long time to get to that, sorry, not sorry. You're blatantly moving on. And it's like leaving an abandoned car. And now whatever energies are like, we're feasting upon that, including ourselves. It's only the remnants left. It's like that's what you can see because you're emotionally not there anymore. Maybe you grew up in emotional turmoil, navigating everyone else's moods, wants, desires. And it's like, in order for me to stay sane, I got to navigate this like a pirate, like, holy schmoly. And again, it's like playing that, being on the defense. And now you're not offended, but you're playing offense. because you're like, okay, I'm out. Emotionally, this is not mine. This may be the roots of where you came from, but you're not going to stay there. If that's the way maybe a certain story is, or how it was when we were kids, and we're using that as an excuse as why we're, staying there, why we feel away. And I get it compassionately. Kind of go to number one if you want tough love, tough love. Do you stay displaced? Or do you move in self-interest? That doesn't mean a nasty thing. Maybe it's been used nasty towards you, maybe, or negatively anyway. But that's not the totality of self interest. That is but one aspect. And if it's been hijacked and used and abused and to untowards you or by those around you, that's the example of what you don't want. So focus on the example of what self-interest can mean in a positive way, and how it can bring in new opportunities for you to say, you know what, I'm curious about this or that, whatever the case is, new job position, different, whatever the case is, all the things, and you're like, I'm going to claim this territory to, tickle about for a while. And yeah, sure, it might feel a little awkward, it might feel like you're abandoning, or you might get the guilt trips even of ourselves to be like, I can't believe, because you're karmically free, that you're going to just leave your family, or you're going to leave the situation, or you work so hard to be here on this community and now you're just going to go. It's like, whoa, yeah, I'm going to go and grow. It's like having a business and turning it into a franchise. And if there's anyone that's going to be like, oh, you're going to franchise it? Yeah, because you're growing, you're spreading out. And you can do that as a mold, or you can do that as a beautiful flower and add to the collective. Put your stank on it. And so I do. In the cave of earth, there's like new bonds here. New bonds that bring self-interest together. What does yourself and myself, do we have a common interest? Is there a community, a territory where we can get together and be curious? And if we were once cast out, black sheep, this, that, or the other, freedom from such tomfoolery. Because yeah, maybe we have felt in a way and we have coddled ourselves, and sure, we have our moments. Feel it. Don't ignore it. Feel it fully. This sucks. That hurt. Oh my goodness. Damn it. And then, okay, take that displacement. It's almost like changing the bond with that and say, okay, this has happened. Where can I move through now in my mind that turns this in heart? It's a blessing. Yeah. There's also door knockers in here. Something about an envelope opener. And you've got the key, the heart and the key. Unlocking what really is going on. Something about nosy Nellies. I don't know. Yeah, just, you don't need to, just because someone has a title, that may seem really important. And I'm not talking about being disrespectful or a pain in the ass just to be a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? I can admit it. I don't know. This is about, just because of someone's position or title doesn't necessarily mean now they have access to your experience to embody as their own. It's just not the way. They can be inspired by it. They can complain about it. They can get all about it, or they can celebrate. But they can't embody the experience for their own. Your mush is the magic. This, yeah. It's like breaking open the shell, coming out of the trunk of time travel. The scythe, card 10, which is also your community. So there might also be in like the sickle scythe thing, is that you might be there's something about new territory here. I wanted to say, cut things off. It's like self-interest. Sometimes we can be very eager to cut things off and slice and dice. And then there's other times where it's like, hold on. There is a death to something, a grim reaper of sorts. But this actually opens up a new opportunity. Cave of Hearth Fires of the heart. And it actually frees up this room by mowing the lawn in this garden here, like right here, this wild field. And we're like going to go through and it opens up this territory. As above, so below, if I may. This illumination is the same as your mush. And then this opens up. Oh my goodness. $33 also. It's yes, the master number, but there can also be masters of damassery. So master clever, master manipulators in the negative sense, master manipulators in the positive sense. So yeah, discernment. Okay. Coffin and the Child, card 8 and 13. Condolences if anyone has lost a child. They have returned home to the hereafter. Please know that their spirit is not displaced. That is maybe our fear in applying their age or their earthly expression. There's nothing that anyone's going to say that's going to make it all okay. I just want you to acknowledge that I'm feeling this soul is not displaced. Very much so right here with you. Very, very much so. They always have a bond with you. They're actually with you on this. It's like a master key system of sorts. Okay, condolences. Earlier on, somewhere along the lines, I'm already very liminal. We were talking about like childhood or stories from maybe it's from number one. I don't know where I'm at now. It's fine. Feeling displaced as a child or from different communities in whatever the case is. And maybe that's our inner child speaking, saying, hey, I don't belong here. How come no one hears me? How come I have to navigate and feel like an old soul? Why do I have to feel like I got to navigate all of these people who are supposed to teach me by their titles, by their positions I was born into? Why are, whatever age this energy is, it may have a memory based in a physical memory of sorts or embodiment of your experience. We talked about the death. It's right here. And it's not death to that space within ourselves. It's cutting things off from that story. And I know that's easier said than done. I want to take a moment if I can to kind of feel it in. I'm back in the mush. It's the caterpillar to mush. And I'm stepping into the mush and saying, hold on a minute. I can utilize that story to build a great arc. Because you're the arc. Maybe Ark of the Covenant as well. You're the one who's going to go past the threshold of your roots. You already have in some way, shape, or form. Maybe you don't see it or give yourself credit for it. You're like, no, 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 no. And you're trying to, or maybe you are just naturally like, no, I'm good, thanks. But I'm still going to credit you for it because it's here. You've already crossed the threshold. You've already pressed through. Not only are you like the tree of life, you're a goddamn forest. Yeah. And it's like the birds are going to come and grab seeds from your trees and plop them in other people's backyards for them to have. Sometimes there's nothing you need to do, but maybe talk to the elements or ask however energies and emotions, etc., that you interact with and say, can you please take these seeds of the extension of my soul, or whatever the case is, the words that you want to use, and drop them in the backyards of people, places, or things in other communities that will be of service. I am connected to them, but not attached to them. Clarifications. Connected, but not attached. They're not siphoning from you. They're not drawing on your energy or have access. There is no spiritual attachment. The essence of this is of community, consciousness. Again, hopefully I said that decently. And then I have here, oh, that's really nice here. The Mountain 21. And also, sorry, I wanted to note 13 and 13. You have two integrations. So you've already integrated your inner child stuff. Maybe it's wounded warrior, past life stuff, whatever the case is for you. And that's why it's one tree, the tree of life, that feels as the focus now, this life incarnation, and to this whole forest, because it's a graveyard of other energies and lifetimes that you've been through. You know, you can lay certain things to rest with peace. In the cave of earth or your pentacles, with the bond, the way I'm seeing the mountain is like a heart monitor. Boom, 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 boom. Your health, your bond to your connection with spirit, your energy, your emotions, your essence, and what draws your curiosity, following your self interest, but not blindly. So you're just walking into displacements all the time. Oh my goodness, that is nonsense and a complete waste of time at some point in time. And sometimes we can call it, be like, oh my goodness, sometimes it's a waste of time. And maybe we want to be wasting our time. I don't know. You decide. You do. You do. Back in the mush, that's where the magic is. And you can move mountains with your heart. And I'm going to take this heart here and I'm going to come back over here full cycle to this heart and feeling free to be both the caterpillar and the butterfly that's also imbued with the crow and the mush inside. And even through this process of sometimes cutting off other people from their curiosity or their efforts to connect with you, to claim you as their territory or whatever the case is, in some sort of tomfoolery, and it has to pass. We lay it to rest. Shall not displace you. And further move towards what does move. Boom, 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 boom. Our health, of our bonds that are here, that are present, that are reciprocal, that are teacher, student, master, of course, that are both caterpillar and butterfly simultaneously in mush. I'm going to stop talking about this, but there's something. It's like the master key system of something I have no idea what I know I'm talking about, but I'm here for it. I hope this is serve, inspire, educate, or entertain. My goodness, you are magical mush, and I love it. If I didn't mention, link is in the description box below for an upcoming event on Zoom, April 1st with myself, if you're familiar with House of Scrying. Your girl here, the Inkblot Oracle, with Witch and Scythe, and we're going to be doing full moon messages. Link is in the description box if you want to join us. If not, that's okay too. I will see you next Saturday for a weekly pick a card, or in between if you decide to choose another adventure here. Till next time. Bye. Number 3, so mote it be. Here's your ink for you to see. Anything that's standing out, feel well to comment below what you see, sense, or feel as we all become the readers, seers, oracles, and we nurture our interconnected natures. And then your crow card is distance 14. If you're coming from 2, and you don't have to, but if you're coming from 2, I'm just going to acknowledge that how they do interconnect, ironically, because there is this about this like displacement thing. Anyway, the point is, this is like looking behind you and looking ahead simultaneously. And I can see these two eyes here. They're like, what? It's like almost like the Home Alone face, but it's like, what? There's a clearing. There's something that you've made distance with is positive. Now, I know that can feel super uncomfortable to say. Maybe as parents, people, places, or things, or a job or a career and opportunity has created distance from being able to go to your Dungeons and Dragons games all the time or playing online, whatever these places and platforms are for you in your communities, of course. But there's something here that you have strategically listened to your higher self. Yes. that your shadow spirits are calling forward to say, you have made positive distance. And sometimes distance can make relationships grow stronger. So when you are together with these people, places, or things, maybe they're more fruitful. There's gratitude there. There's respect. Maybe it just creates space for breathing room. And I want to come into like number one, which I think it was number one anyway, about the potency. And it's like, well, maybe we won't see each other for days, weeks, months, etc. But when we do get together, it's magic. And sometimes distance can be so divinely aligned. And it's almost like, oh my goodness. I want to note as well, if there's something that you are working towards, whatever the case is, that seemed far away at one point from our line of sight or perspective. It's like going to school and taking all these courses to graduate someday. And it seems like, oh, off in, 5 years, I'll graduate. In 3 years, it'll happen. And okay, it's like the clearing is right there. I don't know what this is in regards to. I don't know what it's about, but it's right there. I also want to note as well, it's interesting how this one they just has a very different vibe to it from the other two. Your crows, if they stand mean anything to you, please follow them, whatever they symbolize. But I want to know, I'm going to say the higher self kind. This feels like a crew. So it could be like your higher self or an expression of a spirit animal, your team of sorts. And they are like telling you or showing you in some way, shape, or form, like, we're waiting for you now. And I don't want that to sound like, oh, they're waiting. They already know. Like from your line, it's like reading the tarot. You sit at the table and you drop the cards from where you are now at this point and everything that you've done to this point. This is the most likely outcome, not the be all end all, not the fate or the destined. And I'm not trying to poo-poo that. Those are inspirations for movement, but they're not carved in anything that where you can't make changes. And it's like stepping into saying, given your trajectory, your momentum, your building, your distance of cutting off, and also creating cords of connection, positive cords that are like umbilical cords with friends, family, places, even to where it is that you may live, right? And it's like, okay, these distances that once maybe for your own goals, wants, desires may have seemed far from a distance. And it's like now they're like right here. You can like touch them. Like you might even be in it and not recognize it. And I want to might say like it's in that state of like maybe abundance or gratitude where it's like you may not even realize you are living it. But because now you're not looking at the forest from a distance or a point of view, you're in it and you're like, oh, this is the forest. Oh my gosh. Like, this is what I wanted the whole time, to live in the woods and just breathe and listen to the birds. And you're in it. Because the perspective when we dreamt it, thought of it, were inspired to take action, came from a different point of view. Distance from maybe being not of it. But when you're in it, it's like, oh my goodness. I needed a car and I got a new car, new to me car, or whatever the case. You know what it is. Okay. And then also to some degree or another, just people, places, or things. Creating distance from grabby gopher guts. Discerning and deciding. There's something about shoes down here as well, but trying to fit into, like, I'm seeing a shoe here, like Cinderella, but like, was it one of the evil stepsisters or something like that when she like tries to scrunch her foot into the shoe and make it fit? I think we can all just be honest to some degree or another. I'm not saying for you, but in this moment, we've all tried to make things fit. Clothes from when you're a teenager in your 20s, but now you're in your 40s, you're like, no. Maybe it's just not even your style, making the style fit. Releasing, some people change their makeup, right? And they're like, oh, I'm no longer wearing eyeliner now, or adding eyelashes. I don't know. whatever dudes and dudettes do. But I think we can, in some way, shape, or form, trying to make certain shoes fit. We can only walk so far in them before they're just painstaking. And you can't go the distance in shoes that are too small for you. So congrats, excuse me. It's almost like looking back and seeing what you've accomplished sometimes wearing shoes that are too small for you. Yeah. And it's like, wow, but that's not a method that it's like, okay, I learned from that, but I'm not going to do that in the future. It actually was unnecessary, but maybe there was just something we really, really wanted. And sure, we really, really wanted it. And we were willing to quote unquote suffer through it. But it's not necessary now from the way you see things. And it's almost like your ability to see things from your higher self perspective is, I can't even tell you how the feeling to say like how priceless that is, because that's almost like what was learned, but you had to like hurt your feet along the way. And you know you don't need to do that again. There's also a dog and slippers, something along that lines. And maybe you're like wearing slippers, comfort. You know, there is this kind of like fun feeling like comfort is a key thing here. You know, maybe being stylish if that's your thing, in whatever shape or form this is in. To also being comfortable, right? Comfortable in your own skin, in your own body. There are turtles here. They do have their shell. They are wise workers. There's also manted vibes here. Teamwork and routine coming in the cave of ice. Turtles in a half shell. This is also that higher selfscape I was talking about. Because the higher self has access to other higher selves. It's amazing. Teamwork makes the dream work. Is that what they say? But we get it. Some people maybe you do your work best solo, but your team is your spirit team. But what you provide or do, work at a coffee shop, have a business, whatever titles or positions may have had some interest and you've decided to collaborate with them. And that's what sends it out to the team. Maybe you're going to be also considering even doing a team project, working on a team. Yeah, that's cool. Your team also watches you from a distance. It's pretty routine at this point. I'm going to say that whatever you've embodied and endured, you have endured with shoes that are probably too small for you. You have, it's like now it's part of your routine to look at your reasonings. And or if you're interacting with other people, finding out their reasonings. You're allowed to ask questions without it being investigative or threatening. Maybe that's been done to you. Sure, fair enough. But in this moment, you're like, I'm not going to not ask questions though, because there are clarification things. It's just responsible. It's just responsible. It's like being at a job interview and they ask you all these questions and then they say, do you have any questions for us? And you're like, no, I'm good. No, have questions. Absolutely have questions. So this is your policies. This is your mission statement. Can you tell me more about this? Can you give me references? If I went and talk to 3 employees right now, what would they say about working here without you having a presence? What would they say? Tell me about your, processes for the future. What's your 5-year plan? Where do you see this business? Again, I don't mean to say it's all like, where do you? But finding a way to have it without that, well, and just having, yeah, I absolutely have questions. Because if you are going to commit and make some part of team or collaboration a part of your day to day. Now, there's also day to day routines, there's monthly routines, there's yearly routines, there's seasonal routines, there's decade routines. So, you don't need to ram 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bag. Because sometimes things will be in a distance, you're playing a long game, short game, you know the drill, you're doing it all. But ask questions. Yeah. Where do you see your company in 5 years? Where are you going? What can I see, or where can I access the stockholders' history of the stock market over the last 5 years so I can see the trajectory. It doesn't have to be so bougie. I'm just bringing up different examples, but you get the gist. Something, oh, and you have luck here, which I think brings in number one as well, if I remember. Luck be a lady tonight. Oh, this is fun. I'm going to give this, I almost like, yeah. It's like, you can't believe it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There's also something about Snoopy here, bendy bones. And if I didn't say so before, when I was seeing the dog, I also saw a cow. Mm. Okay. It's just all happening in so many different directions. It's amazing. And sometimes to see something big picture, going this way, going that way. Remember when we started, it was a matter of being able to see the present and the past simultaneously, the present and the past simultaneously. But it's in the moment that the past and the present, or the past and the future, help the present moment. I always like say to myself, I'm like, oh, future Steph, past Steph is doing future Steph a favor. She's going to go and do the grosh now and fill up the car with gas. So future Steph, when she has to, get up and go, she doesn't need to do that. Awesome possum. And it's always in the present Steph, though. I'm aware of it. It's always present Steph giving and receiving to these versions that I apply into these timelines. Yeah. I feel like there's also a whittling. It's like turning a piece of wood into a sculpture, a toy, a pastime. There also might be something like with fidget spinners or some sort of craft that you do that helps yield. It's like a talisman of sorts. So it does feel tangible, like there's something that you touch. It's something in the tangible realm of the senses that help activate the human to the higher self. Uh, it creates the distance, but it actually brings something closer together. That's what it is. In the Cave of Winds, you should feel lucky in your swords. You should absolutely feel lucky. Yep. I don't know. I feel lucky. Do you feel lucky? Yeah, I feel lucky. And sure, there's been times where you haven't felt lucky, but you feel lucky now. Komodo Dragon. Interesting as the warning card comes out. You also listen. Listen to your heart. When something doesn't feel right or fuzzy, ask questions. And sure, this might come off like an investigative way, but I kind of want to just say in this moment, if this is in regards to a person, relationship, friendship, and they're like, well, hold on a minute, why are you asking so many questions? And they take it very attacky. Now, how they're going to take it, it's not about us dissecting that, but maybe it's something that there's like red flags and also something about cherry blossoms. There's red flags. And I just hear the woe is me story because then it turns it back on them and the woe. Maybe even our own ways, we turn things into a woe. Can I remind you in this moment? Woohoo! A woe and a woohoo. A woe and a woohoo. I think now at this point in time, when the lamp is lit as a warning, it's like the weather systems and a tornado warning, or something comes up on the TV or our phone, maybe someone's health. There are warning signs. You listen to them, and so you can make decisions while you're still emotionally distanced from maybe a crisis or from a space of urgency that has turned emergency. And so sometimes it feels like that's why when we step away, because it's like, okay, let me get out of the energy. My heart's all up in this. Now my heart's a pumping. It's like, oh my goodness. And also like in grief, right? And it's like asking somebody who's going through acute state of grief and make very important life decisions at that time. That is not the time to be making decisions. There might be plans in place. There might be things that, yes, but hopefully you have someone that's on your team who knows, who's got your back, who's got your six, and says, I'll be answering. It's like having a secretary that you trust and saying, I'll be answering if you need something signed or you need this, I'll be reviewing it and presenting it. Because you coming in saying you need something now when there's health or this, that, or the other, when people use their health or like guilt to be like, I'm not feeling well, you got to come now, and they use it for attention, like crying wolf. Okay, crying wolf warnings. There it is. All of the versions of it. Ghosts in the cave of rivers. There's that graveyard. You can fly past these other versions that once were. You listen also, there's a lot of spirit energy here. I can see you right there. There's a bird down here. He's so funny. It's like if I can make a gorilla a bird, I'd be scared of this little bird. And if he was coming at me, I'd be like, I don't care how tiny it is. I'd be like, this bird, gorilla bird means business. If I saw him coming from a distance, I'd be like, oh, no, no, no. I'm sure he's a sweetie pie, but in this moment, he's making sure that I know he's there. Maybe a gorilla means something to you. Also with the ghosts in the cave of rivers, and then in the cave of earth, your pentacles 12 direction. Look how sunny that is. You are a massive territory is on the bottom. You're a massive presence, and I mean that in the best way, and not like, oh, you're not enough, or you're too much. I mean just in the scrolls and the crows want to show you, to remind you of where you've been, where you're going, and how past version of you is helping future version of you, but it's always here in the present. And I know that we all know this language, but how much fun is it to travel them? How much fun is it to go off in different directions? Like, I'm sorry, this is amazingly fun if you feel into this. I'm not saying all the time. You know, we're all very introverted. We want to have our solo time to nurture, receive, give. And then it's like we can just fly off in different directions. It's like, I'm on my way. It's like, yep. Something about washing the car with a car mitt on. Elephant trunks specifically. Closing out messages, please. Okay. We have a ship. Hurt. The dog. We did see a dog earlier, did I? Yes. Different. Yes, the dog there and the slippers. There's a cobra as well kicking around. There's actually a few kinds of dogs. You know what it is? It's also like a hound dog. They can help sniff things out for you. It's like when your dogs communicate. You have absolutely, in some way, shape, or form, transmuted your heartbreak, hurts that are in your head. It's like, oh, that hurts my head, my heart head, disappointments, resentments, whatever the case is. They just don't haunt you. And if they do, you're taking care of those hauntings one by one. But they don't consume you. They don't consume you. Yeah, you're moving on, whether it's by water or by land. It's cruising. Cruising. I mean that in a good way, but I heard like Back in the day, my mom would say, you're cruising for a bruising. No. The sun and fish. I wonder if this is that eel turned sunfish now. Very electric sun. Mm. I might have seen the eel in too. There's also choices here and something about breast and chest. Something about blueberries. Mm. Remember we were talking about the cowboy that was whittling away? Maybe you've also had to witness someone what we would call waste away, or if they had health issues and it's like their body slowly, let go. Please don't let that haunt you. Again, easier said than done, but they are very much so spirit in the sun. Very much so. Oh, now I'm getting all the coughs. And 29, you in your direction where you want to go. There is something that's closing out, a calendar of sorts, or some commitment, contract. We can refer to it as soul contracts, but it's just the agreements that we make with certain people, places, experiences while we're here. And something is done, and you are moving on. Yes, it's that simple. Clover is on the bottom. Lots of luck with you. Lots of luck. Clover. Okay. I'm seeing the movie Cloverfield, and I'm just going to say this as I shared to get ready to close out. It's like knowing the warning signs for yourself and whatever. I can't really remember the movie, but I'm just seeing it around when things don't make sense, when things don't add up. And you listen to that, trust that. And if you need to get someone else's opinion to back it up or not back it up, right? And not having this pre-charged, it's like sending somebody out to say, can you go and see how you feel about this without giving them all this ammunition of influence first. It's like when we look at the Inkblot first and say, whether you take your screenshot or not, say, look at it. Scribe for yourself, know for yourself first, and then let's share this experience. You've got your warning signs. Trust them. Also, there's something about the hermit light, the lamp of sorts, symbolically speaking, that's turning into the sun. So the cycle is a changing. The season is a changing. And you chose this direction. You choose like the sundial. And I can't see. Luck is not something far off. Luck is here. You living it, embodying it. Teamwork, dream work, divinity, distance, here. Love it. I hope this did serve, inspire, educate, or entertain. Woo! If I didn't say so, if you're not coming from the other ones, there's a link in the description box below where myself, oh my god, myself and Witch and Scythe are doing an event, Zoom event on April 1st. If you would like to join us, link is in the description box below on Zoom. What else is there? Everything's in the description box that I can remember. Thank you as always for being here. I hope this would serve, inspire, educate, or entertain. Thank you for those that are joining the inner circle. So you can have input and say on polls and posts for the inner circle eyes only. So thank you for your support and your presence. I appreciate you. And what else is going on? I think we're good. I'll see you next week, next Saturday. So much love. Bye.